Yo, what up? It's AaroniMoses, and this video is more of an informational video for those who want to know what's going on in Chicago. And for those who live in Chicago now, I'm going to give you a couple scenarios. Everybody knows I just got out of jail, and I want to tell you what I've been running into. Now, if you don't know about Chicago, if you don't know about Illinois, Illinois has the most corrupt politicians in all of America. And I don't want anybody to think that I'm a conspiracy theorist. These things are not concrete. They can be proven in specific ways, but you know, two ways to find out if Illinois or Chicago specifically is washing any drug money. It's to, number one, look at any buildings being erected. Number two, the easiest way is to find out about any construction, to look at any construction being done on the highways, any projects that's going to take years, any projects that's even going to take months. Anything that's short of maybe a couple weeks is most likely the washing of drug money. And what I'm going to give you is not a conspiracy theory. It's no spookism. So look, this is what's going on. So we'll say hypothetically, let's say Chicago spends $1 billion on heroin. Let's say the city of Chicago buys $1 billion of heroin from, we'll say, the vice lords, right? So they will take this $1 billion of heroin, flip it, and then to be able to circulate it, to be able to send it, and to be able to give it to the people who are responsible for these goings on, what they have to do is they have to put the money in something profitable. Let's say a library, let's say road construction. They have to make it look like they're spending all this money on something. They're writing it off and making it look like it's costing a lot more than it costs and taking a lot longer than it's going to take. Now, how is this affecting the people? There's a lot of people in Cook County. If you've been to Cook County, you know what I'm talking about when I say this. There's a lot of people in Cook County who are being arrested and their cases are being thrown out deliberately. I was locked up with about 5 people with this scenario that I'm about to give you. They were a well-known gangbanger. They were a well-known cocaine dealer. They were a well-known heroin dealer. And they got their doors kicked in by the police. They got fake warrants, or maybe even real warrants, served on them. They got their houses searched. They got guns seized, drugs seized, all kind of shit seized. But at the end of the day, they never got charged for anything. They come to court, they spend all these months in jail. This is how they wash their money too. They come to court, they spend all these months in jail, and they end up not doing any time. What happens is they lock these people up, and they say, oh, we couldn't find the warrant, or we never had a warrant, and they let them go, and they give them about, you know, how they give them about $100, $150, $200 a day for every day they were in there. They throw the case out, they take the stuff off their record, and it was like nothing ever happened. And then guess what happens? They spend that, they re-up, spend that money on dope, and they try to catch that person. Let's say they give them $2,000. You give $2,000 to a heroin dealer or a cocaine dealer, they're gonna flip that. By the time you catch them with something again, you're seizing $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $100,000 worth of shit. So now, let's say, I'm gonna give you this scenario. Let's say Chicago spends $1 billion on cocaine, right? They flip it, and now they have $10 billion, right? Just hypothetically. And they know you and your crew sells cocaine. So what they're gonna do is, well, no, sells heroin. So what they're gonna do is, they're gonna take a fake warrant. They're gonna go to your house, kick down your door. Damn, they took 2 kilos. They took, you know, 5 pistols, 2 AR-15s, you know, a safe full of money, some jewelry, you know, and a pound of weed on the bed. They seized all of this. Now, this is drugs and illegal guns, right? So you're in jail, and you're fighting this case for 4 months, 6 months. And they say, you go to court, you know, the 6th month you're in there, and the judge says, okay, where's the warrant? And they say, look, we lost the warrant, we can't get it, and the judge throws it out. So you're happy because they can't legally charge you with all these guns. They can't legally charge you with all these drugs. They can't legally charge you with all this money that's being unaccounted for. So they keep it, put it back on the street, selling themselves. All right, this is $100,000 worth of illegal merchandise. Kilos of cocaine, AR-15s, all kind of pistols, all kind of heroin, all kind of weed. They just took out your house, you know, and they took your car, you know. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna give you your car back, and they're gonna give you a $10,000 check for the 4 months to 6 months that you've been in jail. They're gonna reimburse you for your lawyer. They're gonna do all of that, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna spend that $10,000 on drugs, and they're gonna come back later and they're gonna take that $10,000 that you flipped into $250,000. They find a speck of drugs around you. They find any suspicion that you're selling drugs. That $250,000 is now theirs. I've had 2 people that I interacted with who've ended up in this cycle where they were falsely accused, they were falsely arrested, and they end up getting a good check from the government. And they're not smart enough to say, okay, this is about $20,000. I can open an Amazon business. I can open a small business with this. No, they go back to the same thing they were doing because that's all they know how to do. They go back to the same thing. I met a guy in there like that. They gave him a $10,000 check. He spent. He bought a car. He bought a car. He got a new apartment. Bought some jewelry. He took a part of that money and flipped it. He took $2,000 of it and flipped it, and was able to buy a car, a jewelry, move out the area, and get an apartment. The rest of the $8,000, he kept it separately. He kept it separately just because he got that from the government. You know, this is a career criminal getting $10,000 from the government in exchange for 4 months in jail for a crime he didn't commit. So of course he's gonna keep that separate as a reminder, as a trophy. So he got arrested. They got a legitimate warrant for him, and they found, I think, a 1/4 kilo of cocaine. Maybe it was less than that. I think it was I don't know, let's say a 1/4 kilo. They found that 1/4 kilo of cocaine, and they took all his money. They took that $8,000 that the government gave him. They took everything he had just because that 1/4 kilo. He was able to flip that $10,000 into a good chunk of change, but that is how they make their money. Now, that's just 3 people I was locked up with. Imagine them doing that 1,000 times a year. Imagine how much money they make over the course of 5 years, over the course of 10 years, 20 years. This is going on, I promise you. And I know not all these people were innocent. None of them were innocent. Only one of them claimed to be innocent because they're doing a thing now where they raid houses where there's a whole bunch of people in there that don't live there, and they charge everybody with the same thing. They charge everybody with intent to distribute. They charge everybody with possession of narcotics. They charge everybody with possession of firearm, even if you don't live there. That is what they're doing. Whether it's legal or not, whether you cop out or not, they're gonna write you that check if you end up getting your case thrown out. And guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna spend it on selling drugs because that's all you know how to do, and we're gonna catch your motherfucking ass. And that is their mentality, and that is what's going on, bro. Tens of thousands of dollars going to one person, flipping that into $100,000 over 5 years, seizing all of this. That's $100,000 from one person. Imagine them doing that 5 times a day. 5 times a day. I had a guy in there who told me they did his whole crew like that. They did his whole crew like that, and the warrants that they got were all faulty. So I think it was like 12 of them. They're all gonna get paid. They're all gonna get done like that. It's all gonna get thrown out, and that's just one shot. Think about that. You taking $5,000, $10,000, flipping it into however much you think you can flip it to, after 5 years. But doing that 10,000 times, that's essentially getting drug dealers to do the fucking dirty work for you, bro. It's pretty goddamn smart. But I'm telling you this, if you sell cocaine, just like an old head told me, bro, the dope game is dead, bro. If you sell cocaine or heroin, you need to upgrade, bro. The whole point of this drug game thing is to get out. And now think of it like this. If you sell drugs and you live in the city of Chicago, you're gonna end up, you are essentially selling drugs for the government. You're selling heroin for the government. You're not NBA Youngboy. That's not what's going on. You're selling drugs for the government because they are gonna catch you. And it doesn't matter if they catch you legitimately, because they're gonna lock your ass up and give you a $10,000 check. Now you might think it's okay. I don't know if you've ever been to jail, if you ever been to Cook County jail, but $10,000 for 4 months in jail without your freedom, without all the freedoms, even just being able to wake up and go to the refrigerator, even being able to just wake up and go to the shower, you know, is that worth $10,000? And then think of it like this: you're gonna be paying the police, you're gonna be paying the cops. They're gonna give you $10,000 for 4 months of your time in jail, but they're watching you. They want you to sell drugs. They want you to do that shit. They want you to do it well so they can come and lock your ass up with the money they gave. It's pretty much like Chicago was fronting them money to flip it and then locking them back up. And then you gotta pay a lawyer, and you can't even pay the lawyer because it's drug money. It's a lot, bro. And it's not a conspiracy. This is really happening. This is the actual reality. So if this happens to you, if you sell drugs, if you sell heroin, bro, if that happens to you, if that happened to me, I wouldn't even take that money. I wouldn't even take that money. I would take it as a sign to get out of the city. I wouldn't spend that money on drugs. I would spend that money on school. Try to flip it in a way where I can get a grant. I'll pay somebody to write me some grants and get out. You could take that money and start flipping cars legally. You could take that money and buy tires for a 18-wheeler, and then you get a penny or 2 pennies for every mile that they go. It's a lot of things you can do with that money. But if you take that free lunch, just like it says in 48 Laws of Power, don't take the free lunch. And it's not free. It's essentially you getting paid to be in jail. But if you live in the city of Chicago, bro, there's people in there that's locked up for no reason, because they want you to sell drugs. They want you to take that $10,000 and flip it for them. Do you understand how fucked up that is? And I was trying not to curse in this video because I want to monetize it all the way. But you're their pawns, bro. You are their pawns. If you live in the city of Chicago and you sell dope, the dope game's dead, bro. Now they're giving people attempted murder for fentanyl. If you didn't know, if you're from the city of Chicago, you probably know this. What they're doing is they're taking fentanyl. If you sell heroin, they're taking your heroin and they're putting fentanyl on it. Let's say you have a gram of heroin, they're gonna put 0.3 of fentanyl on it, and by the time it gets to the lab, apparently the fentanyl turns the heroin into fentanyl. When it touches, it has some kind of chemical reaction where it looks like complete fentanyl, because they were saying that when they send the heroin to the lab, it says, you know, it's a gram of drugs, but it's 0.8 heroin and it's 0.2 fentanyl. And then the dude told his lawyer to tell him to send it back to the lab, and now it's 0.6 heroin and it's 0.4 fentanyl. Then he sent it a third time. Now it's 0.7 fentanyl and it's 0.3 heroin, where it's eating it up somehow like that. You know, they're taking people's heroin and they're charging them with fentanyl. They're taking people's cocaine and they're charging them with crack. They're making this shit worse. They're sending it to the lab, bro. When it leaves your hands, there's nothing you could do about it. There's people in there that only had 0.3 of heroin and they're charging them with 2 grams. Like, the drug game, number one, the drug game's dead, bro. Number two, you need to be very paranoid. They're going to kick your door in. They're going to lock you up for 4 months. They're going to give you $10,000, $12,000. You're going to end up flipping it, getting caught, and selling drugs for the government, bro. So don't get caught in that trap. This is some whole new mafioso weird shit going on in the city of Chicago, man. I just want everybody to be informed. Before this happens to you, before this happens in your city, everybody in Atlanta, everybody in Florida, everybody in LA, New York, Houston, all throughout the Midwest, you know, we have to be aware of what's going on. It could happen to you, and I know somebody knows if you're in the dope game, and if you know more than 10 people that's doing that shit heavy, you know somebody that this has gotten done to. Somebody knows somebody, and it's not new. This is not a new thing, okay? I just want you guys to be aware. I just wanted to give you that clarity, you know, and show some charity. But that's all I gotta say, man. Stay out of jail. Look for my next video, man. I'm gonna try to make a video on the differences between Cook County Jail that I saw from the last time I was there in 2011 and the changes that have been made. Now, if you want that video to be released, if you want me to make that video, it's gonna be pretty interesting. There's gonna be some disgusting things that are going on. I want everybody to send their positive energy to me because I was in Cook County Division 2, Dorm 3 CC. I was in a condemned building, and there's a class action lawsuit going on. I'm supposed to be getting them almost $8,000. I'm supposed to be getting a check on the way. So we have to put our positive energies together to be able to make that happen for your boy AaroniMoses. That's it. I'm the bang, you the bang, we the bang together, man. Hit me up. Peace.